is Friday. It's February 10th, 2017, and this is Wayne Goldsboro Television. I'm Wayne Alley. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. It is the end of the work week for many people. Weather promising to be really, really nice, but who knows? I mean, it goes from very cold one day, like, what was it, it was yesterday. Yesterday we hit a high of in the 40s. Prior to that, the day before, we were in the upper 60s, and before that, the middle 70s, and this weekend promising to be nice as well. So if the weather's nice, get out and do something, okay? Coming up in March, on March 11th, that's about a month from now, the 41st Annual Pork Barbecue Supper at the Oakland Volunteer Fire Department. Oh boy. Oakland Volunteer Fire Department Barbecue Pork Supper, March 11th, beginning at 4 p.m. That's on Oakland Church Road. It's $8 per plate. That includes barbecue, boiled potatoes, hush puppies, and coleslaw. Okay? Boy, that sounds good, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. The next transportation hot topic luncheon, sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce of Wayne County. You know, they have 4 hot topic luncheons a year, and the next one will be on transportation. The speaker will be Jim Trogdon. Keynote speaker Jim Trogdon is Secretary of Transportation for the state of North Carolina. He's an engineer with decades of leadership in state government and in the military. He was named as Secretary of the North Carolina Department of Transportation in January of this year. Jim Trogdon, the guest speaker at the February 23rd event at Goldsboro Event Center on South Slocum Street. Goldsboro Event Center, South Slocum Street, February 23rd, 12:30 p.m. $25 for chamber members, $35 for non-members. $25 for chamber members, $35 for non-members. And you can RSVP by calling Linda at the chamber at 919-734-2241. Okay? Whee. Coming up, the Wayne County Public Library will be closed Monday the 20th for staff training. They have staff and they need training. So they're going to train that staff coming up this Monday, and they'll be open Tuesday morning, regular hours, regular schedule. Okay? Okie dokie. Got a question for you. In Wayne County, somebody makes the big decisions, right? And a lot of the times, those big decisions are made by elected officials like the county commissioners, or in the city of Goldsboro by the city council. But now, who brings the information to the commissioners to help make those important decisions that affect you and other citizens of the county? Who puts all that information together? Well, usually it's a board or a committee or something like that, right? Well, who's on those boards, and how does one become a member? Well, that's easy. You can get involved with your community and with your local government very easily. You can do it yourself. Be a part of Wayne County. Be an impact on important decisions driving Wayne County. Be an important part of the process, keeping Wayne County a leader in eastern North Carolina. Be a team player. Learn more, view a list of the boards and committees, and apply. Now, you can go on our Facebook page and find this particular notice, and there is a link at the bottom that will take you right to the list of boards in Wayne County, and there's a bunch of them. There's several of them. So you go on there and you make a list, go to that list and find out the boards that interest you the most. That could be the hospital, it could be planning, it could be all kinds of boards and committees. The town of Fremont, the town of Eureka, the town of Mount Olive, any of the municipalities, they're always needing somebody to help on these boards and committees. So go to waynegov.com and click on our Facebook link, or go to our waynegov.com, and I believe there's a link on there, right? Anyway, look for getting involved. Get involved with your community and local government, and then click and follow the link, and it'll take you to where you need to go to find out what interests you the most and what boards and committees interest you the most that you could join to help be a part of Wayne County. Okay? All right. North Carolina Pickle Festival coming up here in April 28th and 29th. Yeah, in Mount Olive, the North Carolina Pickle Festival again. And I forget the number of years. It's a bunch of them, though, that this has been going on. You can go to ncpicklefest.org and get more information about this. ncpicklefest.org. ncpicklefest.org. Get more information about it. Now, if you want to be a part of the Pickle Festival by being a vendor, you can do that. But the cutoff date on that is March 14th. March 14th. to become a vendor at the NC Pickle Festival. Okay, let's see, what do? You go to ncpicklefest.org. ncpicklefest.org. Okay, okay. All right, we're going to go to our next, our interview, which is actually a program, Karl Best Agricultural Program, and our Kevin Johnson of our Wayne County Cooperative Extension Service is going to explain exactly what that is. And I think you'll find this interesting. That's up next on Wayne Goldsboro Television. Today we're at Wayne Community College with the director of the Cooperative Extension Service, and Kevin Johnson. What's going on here today? Why are we here?
We are here, this is our Karl Best Agriculture Leadership Program, and we have a class, and it's a new class. Every other year we have a class where we invite people throughout the community that are either farmers or agribusiness or somehow involved in agriculture. And this class, it teaches them about themselves, about others. It makes them leaders and advocates for our industry. This is our last class, and they have developed some issues. They've come up with 4 issues, important issues in agriculture. And we've invited our commissioners, our county manager to be here, and they're going to, as leaders, they're going to share those issues with them. And then we're going to give the county an opportunity to maybe give some feedback on what's going on in agriculture, how the county can help our ag community.
So when you say agriculture, you're not talking just the farming community, you're talking about agriculture in general.
In general, we're talking about ag business, we're talking about the industry itself. And agriculture goes from farming through the value added all the way to the final product that we eat in restaurants and that we pick up in the grocery stores. So yeah, it's the whole idea of agriculture.
Now the 4 issues that you mentioned, give me an example of some of the issues.
Well, the issues that they're going to bring up are farmland preservation, ag education, taxes are a big deal for farmers, and of course the other one is broadband access. And we've been talking about that with the county, but farmers are having a difficult time. They need broadband on their farms, because they're having to turn in paperwork, do taxes. There's a lot of stuff they got to do, so they need high-speed internet access. And they all are in rural areas of the county. They don't have a lot of access to it. So that's a big issue.
The Seven Springs area has for a long time been in a black hole out there where there's no internet access.
Exactly. Seven Springs, parts of Grantham, north of Fremont, parts of like Pinckney and that areas. The more rural components, they don't have any. They don't have. I hate to mention carriers, but they don't have no Time Warner, Bell South, anything like that. And they're using HughesNet, which is a satellite based.
It's very expensive.
Very expensive. It's not efficient. It's just not reliable.
Yeah.
And they need some kind of access. And I think our county commissioners know that. There's been a survey that's been out to the public of Wayne County, and so they want to share that need, that there really needs to be some help.
That's just one of the 4 issues. You mentioned something a few minutes ago that people don't even think about when you talk about farming, and that is farmers pay taxes just like anybody else, but they pay an exorbitant amount because there's a lot of tax dollars involved with farming.
Because 75% of all the land in the county is farmland. It's either in farms or forestry, but we're paying taxes on that. So taxes are important to them. It's important to all our citizens, but they pay a large portion of the taxes.
Yes, they do.
They do.
And you mentioned paperwork. They drown in paperwork.
They do. The regulations that are out there are they're exorbitant, and we need to back off of some of the regulation and the paperwork, and that's not going to go away, but some relief would be nice.
Well, this is the Karl Best
Karl Best Agriculture Leadership Program.
Excellent, and you do this every year.
Every year there's some activity, whether we're having a new class and bringing in more participants, or if we're going to Washington, D.C. or Raleigh and, speaking to our legislators about issues. So there's something going on all the time.
All right, Kevin, I appreciate you talking to us and explaining to us what's going on here.
Thank you.
At Wayne Community College with the director of our Cooperative Extension Service. That's Kevin Johnson. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. You want me to grab it? The Karl Best Ag Leadership Program, of course, was started by the Best family. Mr. Johnny Best is with us here. When Mr. Karl, who was a great farmer, he was, he cared about our community. When he passed away, the family gave a significant donation to the foundation here at Wayne Community College. Together, we all kind of came up with this leadership program. It was a way that we could keep people involved in agriculture, create more leaders, have advocates, and people that cared about agriculture. So this has been going on since our first class was in 2007. I think we started developing it in 2006. And so this is our 6th class that we've had. And, of course, beyond having classes and having members join this group, we do advocacy work. We do trips to Washington, D.C. We've been to Raleigh. And we try to share our issues that involve agriculture. So that's the basis of this program. With that said, we are very fortunate to have some distinguished guests with us. And when we do come up here, we've got 4 issues that this group came up with, and they're going to share them with y'all. They want y'all to know. Some of them you're already aware of. And when you come up here in your group, please introduce yourself and maybe where you're from, who you work for, whether you're self-employed as a farmer or if you're working with an ag business, if you'll please do that. We've got our class broke up into 4 groups. They have 4 issues. They're going to come up and share their issues with you. Some of our commissioners are going to have a passion for some of these issues. And if y'all would like to maybe give some feedback, maybe after the issues, let's let them all come up and give their issues. They're going to limit it to 5 minutes or so, but then we can have some open dialogue afterwards. So I guess I will start with the Farmland Preservation Group, since they're right up here up front. And like I say, if you will introduce yourselves when you come up.
Started things off with, my name's Thomas Murphy. I work with the Wayne County Soil and Water Conservation. So do introductions first, and we'll start with the rest of the stuff.
Yeah. Dalton Grantham, work for Southeastern Grain in Bentonville, and I am from Grantham.
Yusef E. Wise. I am northern part of Wayne County, and I work with the Goldsboro Milling Company. I head up their human resources office.
I'm Ryan Parks. I farm in the southern part of the county with our family, Parks Farms, row crops, and livestock.
As Kevin said, the issue we're going to discuss is farmland preservation in Wayne County. The loss of farmland to development in Wayne County is one of the most important issues we're facing in agriculture. From 1950 to 2012, Wayne County lost approximately 100,000 acres of farmland to development. Loss of land is inevitable due to county growth, and growth is not a bad thing. We need to find a balance to ensure that future generations of Wayne County farmers will still have an important part in feeding the world, and at the same time still promote healthy growth within the non-ag areas of the county.
And for me, I guess it's important to understand the difference between the problem and the symptom. Sometimes we focus on the symptoms, and we have to kind of clear that up. Like Thomas said, growth is important, but I think the growth needs to come from a certain place. And we talked a lot, and the problem isn't that farmland. Well, the symptom is farmland is actually getting smaller. The problem is that farmland is cheap or less expensive. And so one of the things we propose or we'd like to do, and we talked about, was as part of the voluntary ag district. We know that a lot of the developers purchase farmland because it is less expensive. And so we didn't want to come across as it being a regulation or something that's imposed on them. It is a voluntary program. What we would like to do is actually increase the payback time. So instead of it being 3 years for the developers to have to pay back, it would be somewhere in the 10-year range, so that we can actually, that would be where we get our funding from. Now, our purpose is, of course, that we're in a good position right now as a county, I would say. Goldsboro downtown is developing significantly, and there's a lot of area that's prime real estate that developers aren't investing in because of the fact that it is costly. So when you level the playing field, we would like to actually try to solve part of that by developing on the downtown area for housing purposes. Like I said, it is voluntary, so to entice or encourage farmers to volunteer or participate, we understand that we would have to offset some of that by giving them some type of perk in the current time. So give them some type of 2% or some type of tax reduction. We understand that there is a present value, but it'd have to be something kind of like an added carrot to entice them to want to go on to this program. Developing downtown, right now, like I said, it's a good time. We would grow, but it would be in the downtown area. And instead of using farmland to house people, it would be in that community. Instead of losing people to go to Raleigh or those larger cities that offer that type of housing, we could offer it here in town. So there would be a growth. It would just be a more controlled growth. So we accept as a team that development is good and growth is always good, especially for a county. But we would like to shift it so that the growth isn't coming from farmlands. It would be actually coming in from the downtown area.
And so I'd like to clarify a few things. So currently the county has a program where the present use valuation is, I hesitate to call it punitively, but when farmland is sold from farmland into development, there's a 3-year where they collect the back taxes from the difference in the present use valuation to the new valuation. And what we're proposing is making it a voluntary program where that punitive back tax collection would be back into 10 years, but it would allow them to collect some money, so it would have some money that could be used for economic development elsewhere towards the center of the county, but it would also kind of provide farmers an incentive to join the program if you have some kind of small property tax abatement program.
And I know it sounds a little kind of confusing in a sense, but our goal is to level the playing field. Like I said, a lot of people think that, we know that farmland's getting smaller, and we know that, we don't want to compete against development, we just want to shift it. So instead of having farmland disappear, we would like to shift it so that we can develop downtown areas where people would actually like to live. And what I see is, and I work, of course, for Goldsboro Milling, and we hire a lot of millennials and a lot of new younger generations. And this generation is very different from the generation I grew up in or the previous ones. And this generation is looking to be in the city, and they're looking to walk to work or go to a bar or go to a place nearby, versus our generation, which would love to drive 30-minute commute or 15-minute commute, which is something I think we can capitalize on. The demand's there, it's just preparing the groundwork so it is competitive. So I think that's all from ours.
All right, well, thank you a lot, I appreciate that.
One last thing. One thing that's kind of a big plus of this is Seymour Johnson makes up a lot of Wayne County, or at least Goldsboro. And one of the things that we see, I saw it a few years ago where they were evaluating and whether they wanted to stay in Wayne County. This would help with that, because instead of building in the areas where you are in the flight paths or in those areas, it would actually go more towards the actual downtown area, which they wouldn't mind. So this would eliminate a lot of that, so that would be a big plus for us as well. I kind of clicked on that.
Yeah, we do realize the military and agriculture get along well. They also mentioned infilling, but basically they were saying infilling, and they've talked about, think about all the empty buildings downtown. On George Street, on Royal Avenue, there's a lot of empty buildings, and there's opportunity for growth there. So that was some of the conversation that they had. So moving right along, our next group, let's see, how about taxes? Commissioners love to hear about taxes. So, yeah. Yeah. And if y'all would introduce yourselves.
I'm Barney Kirby, and I work with Pectown Dixie, and I live in Pikeville on the north end of the county.
I'm Harry Balance. I farm, and I live on northern end of the county.
My name's Jeff Parks, and I farm, I'm trying to get my directions right, eastern Wayne County, a little area called Hood Swamp.
Hi, I'm Diane Belmont. I work with the Foundation of Wayne Community College, and I live downtown. But my family farms.
I'd like to thank y'all for keeping property tax down and also for the deferred tax rule, which is helping us be able to farm.
And I'm kind of go opposite of Harry. We would like to see property tax for farm use lower, and the reason is every year we get a reevaluation, and the reevaluation is always higher, but a farmer's inputs, whether he owns a lot of land or he's renting land, is not changed in 20 years. So I mean, we got higher inputs and not recouping the money. So we would like to kind of see a balance in the farmland to help farmers out on some of their inputs, and higher land taxes cause higher land rent, and farmers that own a lot of land, just higher inputs, and try to lower them down to help everybody we can.
And just like they're reiterating, we're basically kind of piggybacking preserving farmland. I appreciate what you commissioners have done in keeping your promise and keeping taxes low. And from what we've learned, every 10 years there's a consensus that is done. And I believe a reevaluation on taxes is 8 years. Okay, is that right? So if you could consider, as far as farm use value, most every time land's reevaluated, it's going to go up in price. If you could keep our farmland value, it's going to go up in price as well. If you could maybe increase the farm deferment tax in order to help benefit us out on the farms, it would be beneficial. I can give one small example of a little small family farm that I was tending. It was approximately 10 acres. And the lady, due to taxes going up and her being elderly on a fixed income, she sold part of her farm. It put her under the 10 acres, which I think is the minimum requirement for farm use value. And so therefore her taxes increased, and she had to pay back the deferred tax. So in the process, I've kind of tried to step in to help her out. But that's something where I could appreciate if y'all could look at the rules on how the tax deferment works and everything. I know we're asking a lot. When it comes to taxes, that's the big elephant in the room. But at the same time, I would just appreciate if you could consider us in order to try to do all this in order that we can keep farmland in as use. And I'm just speaking to it from a personal point. And I'm like you, Mr. Wood, I can't speak too shortly, but I do have a personal request from y'all as well. I might not get this chance again or the nerve to tell you or ask you. This is where I appreciate what y'all do. I'm not a good public speaker. But Connie Price, that used to be the county planning, he was my cousin. And his mother and my father were brother and sister. And the new road comes right there by our farm where my parents, where my father and his mother were born and raised. I don't know how to get the ball rolling or anything, but if y'all could honor him by naming that bridge there and, after him, or at least recognize him some way, I'd appreciate it. Certainly would.
To summarize everything that we've discussed today, we want to thank you very much for keeping the taxes low. We would like you to consider lowering them even more. And we also would like you to take to heart the issues that we have with the farm use land, and possibly see if we could work out some kind of deal with those special cases, considering the lady with the 7 acres that is lower than the 10 acres. And those are our issues. So thank you.
Thank you. Real briefly, I do want to say we do have our executive board. We have a board that has oversight over this program. We do have a couple that came in right at lunchtime. We have Mr. Andy Balance, and Mr. Steve Hooks, who are both from the Fremont community. I think everybody already knows Johnny Best from the Sawston community and Ross Balance, who's also from the Fremont community. So our taxes, boy, that was some good stuff. Anyway, we're going to move into we got 2 more issues. And so we will start with, let's go with ag education. So Megan would, yeah, and Mr. Wood and I do have to go to a meeting over at the T.A. Lovin building with the Max Wag Center. So thank you so much. And then after this group gets done, Jessica's going to provide the leadership from here on, and we're going to let the broadband access group talk. So.
Okay, my name is Brad Waters, and I am a loan officer with Ag Carolina Farm Credit, and I live in the Rosewood area.
Hey, I'm Hilt Winders. I'm with North Carolina Farm Bureau here in Goldsboro, and appreciate the opportunity to talk with you guys today.
My name is Hannah Singleton. I currently work in Pikeville at Jericho Farms. I'm from the southern Wayne County area, Seven Springs.
I'm Megan Spence, and I farm with my family in the eastern Wayne County area.
Okay, so our topic, or kind of broad general, was ag education, and as our group started to discuss all the various issues of ag education, we realized that it kind of hits all levels, and that we did not want to overwhelm everyone with, especially the county commissioners, with things that you couldn't really help us with because it's not in your jurisdiction or area of control. So one thing that we kind of focused in on were community programs, and we came to find out that you already support some of the community programs that we had knowledge of. And so we were just going to kind of touch on that and go over some things. So the Odom Farms does an Ag Day for all of the second graders in Wayne County, which I'm sure you all are aware of. And we actually got in contact with Emily and had her send us kind of a story or an experience from one of the students that came to the Ag Day last year. And so I'm going to read that for you guys. She said that they have a lot of groups that come from inner city programs who don't get to experience the outdoors at all, much less a farm. And they can come out and put their hands in the dirt and see plants growing and learn where their food comes from. And last year that they had required a goat, and after they had acquired their goat, they had a group come and they were just fascinated with the goat. And that one of the kids got close enough, got real brave, and let the goat lick him square in the face. And that caused pandemonium, and so all the kids wanted to have the goat lick them. So I guess what it comes down to, and I previously was a teacher, and one thing that they teach you in education is that you can't get anywhere without a good foundation. And so that's kind of where we're asking you to support us and help us focus in on building up that good foundation for kids to start with an education in agriculture. So the Odoms Farm Ag Day focuses on second grade students throughout the entire county. And we wanted to say thank you because we do know that the county already gives money to that program to support their efforts, and we do appreciate that. I'm a graduate from the University of Mount Olive, and during my time there, we also started an Ag Day. It's for the local community. It's for third graders from Carver Elementary School, and it runs very similarly to the Odoms. We get different groups from NCDA, the Forestry Service. One of our students is a beekeeper, and he brings his bees. And the students go around to different stations, and they learn about all the different commodities and various aspects of agriculture. So when you have a good foundation, which is what we're hoping those will get, it kind of leads us into things that we know that you can't directly impact because it's legislated by the state or national, federal government, but we can impact our community, and hopefully it'll build up a good support for those future programs. So I taught Ag Ed, which falls under CTE in the high school education program, and we just wanted to share some statistics that we found. And there is a study that the American CTE Association did that shows that 90% of students enrolled in career and technical education graduate. So the graduation rate is higher in students that are enrolled in career and technical education, whereas those who are not enrolled in career and technical education only have a 74% graduation rate. So we know that you can't really directly help us impact the amount of students that enroll in career and technical education in high school, because that is state legislated through the education. But we're hoping that by supporting, and maybe if you could consider increasing your support or your funding for those Ag Day programs that impact those younger generations in our communities, that it'll spark their interest, you know, at a young age, get them curious and educated about agriculture and what it is we do. And it'll kind of follow them through middle school and into high school. And hopefully they can follow that into those education programs that will help them stay in school and be graduates and pursue other careers.
So, Mr. Wayne, I'm sorry. I heard everybody say that where they were from, and I'm embarrassed that I didn't mention it, but I'm from the which is top of the chain here. So that's right. So just to kind of recap the things that we talked about and discussed, you know, I think that if we could generate more interest in the second grade, third grade level, and then we have the FFA that is working the Odom Farm event, which are high school students, and they're teaching these younger kids and trying to generate interest in the farming community. So if we could generate more interest and see more involvement with the community. Obviously, we need to pray about parental involvement in education. We can't make somebody be a better parent or pour more into their kids, but the part that we can control is how we generate interest with our students. And so if you would, please consider how we might generate. I mean, you guys are in charge of a lot of money for the county and the education system, and it looks like y'all have you noticed that we need new schools, and you're working hard on those things, and we appreciate that. Anything else that could be contributed to these agricultural events would be greatly appreciated. I do, everybody knows if you take the paper or if you look on the internet or however you might get your news, that Goldsboro's crime rate is sort of rising, and I'd like to think that if we can influence just one or two of these kids a year, or hopefully more, that if we can get them involved in different programs, that we'll see that decrease, and in turn have some more, more money from public safety can be, stuck in other places that are much more needed. So thank y'all for your ear.
Okay, thank you all for talking about that issue, and that one I think is a big one that was discussed with the group with ag awareness and ag education and so forth, especially investing in our youth, making them aware of agriculture, not only what agriculture is and maybe getting some interest in it, but also just simply being aware of it, that where their food comes from, and being appreciative of it. We have our last group, the broadband access. We'll let them go.
My name is Richard Toller, and I'm the County Executive Director for the Farm Service Agency here in Wayne County.
My name is Hunter Casey, and I'm the Assistant Manager for Casey Nursery in Rosewood, and I currently live in the Nahunta community. And I just would like to take a moment and tell y'all, thank y'all for what y'all have done, especially with the broadband access, and how proactive y'all have been, and just like to say thank y'all again.
And my name is Stephanie Cummings. I work for Wayne County Public Schools. I'm a school counselor at Rosewood Elementary School. From Fremont, that's where I live, and I grew up in a farm family. Ross Balance is my dad. So, I try to stay aware of the issues that impact agriculture, and broadband access is one of them, especially for those rural businesses and agricultural businesses that occur or that are located in areas that are underserved by internet access. And I know that it's something that you guys have been working on, and I know that there are a lot of hurdles that we have to overcome. But I just kind of wanted to take this a few minutes, and I'm glad that the education group went before I did. But education, I feel like the public school system could be a powerful ally in trying to get this broadband access. It is something that our county is very passionate about. We are living in the digital age. We are always trying to find ways to communicate with families, to deliver instruction in ways that we don't have to use consumable goods like paper and textbooks and workbooks. And if we can communicate by digital means, that is a very cost and time effective way of doing that. However, right now, because a lot of our families that we serve do not have access to internet, we're having to, we have to communicate by digital means, plus go behind ourselves and communicate again by paper, sending out newsletters and things like that, to reach those families that we're not sure whether or not they have internet access. A lot of our remedial and enrichment programs are online. We have free resources that we can give our families, but they are online resources. And so if we have families who cannot access them, then they're not really an effective use of that resource. We also, the county has launched a family engagement website called Family Engagement on Demand, where they offer videos to try to help parents help kids with their homework. And I know Hilt just said that that's a big problem in having parent involvement in student education. So I say all that to say, partner with the school system, partner with some of the county office people, even some of the people located within the schools like myself would be more than happy to help be a voice, help put a face, put some numbers with what you guys are trying to accomplish and getting the private support from these companies, because it is impacting real people. So thank you. You guys have anything to add? Good. Okay. That might have been really short, but sure.
I'll speak to the broadband. It's kind of been what I've been involved in. A couple of years ago, Commissioner Mayo and I had the opportunity to go to Louisiana. We saw a presentation, and I can't recall which state it was. It was somewhere, Washington State or somewhere out there. But anyway, they had the same problem, a lot of rural area. And the big companies, the Time Warners, all the big ones, AT&Ts and all those folks, they are not going to go out in the country where you guys are. They're just not going to do it because they say they can't afford it, and it seems like everything's $1 million a mile. That's what you keep hearing. But what we saw out there was what they had come up with, and I wish George was here because he did it in Kings Mountain. They were able to use water towers, the cell towers, to have private companies to come in and put their repeaters on these towers and put private equipment in your home to bring you wireless broadband internet. So we've already had the county planner, Chip. They may have gotten a survey in the mail when we sent them out. I think we got about 700 back. We'd hope we're going to get more than that, but that's what we got. We've got the elevations on all the towers. We've been to the sanitary districts, and they're liable for us to put, those companies to put repeaters on their water towers too, so we can cover the entire county. We've had one meeting already. We had 5 internet providers that came to that meeting, and then we put out a request of information, and the cutoff is February the 15th. Now we did have one of the groups did come back to us, and Ross, you were there. I'm not sure if you were there or not, Johnny. But the solution that particular provider had was not a solution. It was a Band-Aid. We're hoping that there will be more interest in what we're getting so far. And because we certainly understand, you're unable to operate an office out in the middle of the country, download information from state and federal that you need to be able to operate your farms. And we also recognize that, as you're saying, Stephanie, I've known Stephanie since she was real small, before she was even born. But anyway, and I'm glad you got the passion that you do on that. And my wife, being a retired school teacher, I understand as well that the books are disappearing. Your homework's going to be done on iPads and that kind of thing. You've got to be able to go somewhere to be able to do your homework. It's critical for the learning curve. And we've talked to the school system. We've worked well. We were doing very close work with those folks. As a matter of fact, we gave them, I think it was $500,000 to jumpstart the technology. Is that what it was? 6. So we're putting our money where our mouth is too, So, but other than that, we talked about perhaps they'll have to go in the evenings for people to leave their labs open so kids can do the homework. That's not really what we would prefer. We'd like to see that those providers come out there and provide that wireless internet to you.
All right, we do want to thank the county commissioners taking time out of y'all's busy schedule, and thank you for your support, especially with agriculture in Wayne County. We appreciate that. Thank you to the board members for being here today, and also to the participants. Y'all took time out of your busy schedules for about 4 days worth over the past few weeks and to participate, but we appreciate your input and also being a voice for agriculture in the county. And if nobody else has a comment, we'll wrap it up. Hope everybody has a good afternoon. Thank you.
We're back on Wayne Goldsboro Television this Friday morning. Woo! Oh boy, it's Friday morning. It is. And it's going to be a nice day. Very nice. Tomorrow, much nicer. Okay, Friday, that's today, that's tonight rather. The Starlight Dance Band will be at the Seeger Senior Center. That's this evening beginning at 7 o'clock. The Peggy M. Seeger Senior Center on East Ash Street. Will be there free for seniors 50 years and older. Sponsored by the Arts Council of Wayne County, and that's beginning at 7 o'clock tonight, the Starlight Dance Band. Also, at the Wayne County Public Library, tomorrow, computer security and privacy is so important. And they're going to be having a workshop, if you will, a workshop at the library tomorrow on East Ash Street. Learn about computer viruses, learn about malware, about phishing, about other computer security problems, as well as how to recognize spam and common online scams. All right, that's tomorrow beginning at 9:30 in the morning at the Goldsboro Public Library, 1001 East Ash Street in Goldsboro. Free of charge. Tis. Yes, let's see what we have here. Today is the 10th of the month of February. A third of the month is gone. How about that? Okay, here we go. Special about today, all the news that's fit to print. Day. What was that, the New York Times? I believe it was. All the news that's fit to print. Well, somewhere along the way, they kind of lost their... never mind. And that's it for today. All the news is fit to print. Gee whiz, that's not much of a day. Well, let's make something up. Okay, okay, let's look at the weekend. What's special about tomorrow? Tomorrow is the Electric Day. Don't cry over spilled milk day. Get out your guitar day. Okay. Yeah, okay. And it's also Pro Sports Wives Day. Pro Sports Wives Day. See, it's all how you say it. Tomorrow's also what? Stress Awareness Day. Oh boy, that's a good one. National Shut-In Visitation Day. Now, there's a good one. National Shut-In Visitation Day. Do you know shut-in? They love to see you. Yeah, they would. They love for you to go by. Yeah. And it's also World Day of the Sick. So if you know someone who's ill, you can go by and see them as well. And it's White Shirt Day tomorrow, or White T-Shirt Day. White shirt or white T-shirt day. That's tomorrow. That's what makes tomorrow special. Today and tomorrow is special for that matter. Our trivia question for today. The category is country star Garth Brooks. Before Garth Brooks became a big star, he got married. His first wife's name's Sandy. The story of how he met Sandy is an interesting one. He and Sandy were in the same room together, and she was trying to get something out of the wall. Something was stuck in the wall, and she was trying to get it out of the wall. What was it? What was Sandy trying to get out of the wall? When Garth Brooks met his future wife, Sandy, what did she try to get out of the wall? That's our question. We'll have the answer for you in the next segment of the program. That's up next on Wayne Goldsboro Television. Today, Corporal Jason Adams from Goldsboro Police Department is joining us with a report from Crime Stoppers. Jason, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good to see you fine, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, we're out there catching bad guys, and we need the public's help.
Yes.
What's going on?
Well, this is a robbery that actually happened over in Lincoln Homes on February 3rd in the afternoon, right around 3 p.m.
Daylight.
Daylight. Just after school is kind of getting out and such, which is kind of an importance because our suspects are possibly some young black males.
Oh, boy.
So there was a delivery driver from Wayne Pharmacy that actually was making some deliveries, and he was prepping for his next delivery and was at the trunk area of his vehicle when he felt something put to the back of his head, and a suspect said, "Give it up." So they ended up stealing his personal money and also the Wayne Pharmacy money that he had with him. So one of the things that we're kind of looking for is the First Citizens bag is what the money from the Wayne Pharmacy was actually in. So anybody that's seen anybody carrying that around that usually doesn't carry a First Citizens bag, it's kind of important.
It's a typical bank bag, I
yeah,
take
typical
it?
bank
That
bag.
looks like a bank bag.
Yep, and it says First Citizens Bank on it.
Okay.
And so they ended up taking that and ended up running from the area. And there was 3 of them. He couldn't really give us a description, the employee that was robbed or anything, but it happened right at the trunk area of the 900 block of Lincoln Drive.
Where is that?
That's in the Lincoln Homes, the Goldsboro Housing Authority. It's going to be near between Olivia and Newsom.
Okay.
Right there off of Slocum
Off
Street.
Slocum Street,
Yeah,
okay.
So anybody that's got any information about 3 young males that might have been out, may have had a firearm, they may have seen them around in that area, could have been running, or if they've seen somebody recently within the last couple of days that's had a First Citizens bank bag with them and such. And like I said, these are described as young black males. And so with school just getting out and a little bit more foot traffic with school and people walking home from school and such, we don't know if it was more juvenile age or actual adult males.
Did the victim actually see a weapon, or did he just
No.
presume it may have been a weapon?
It could have been a weapon. When he described it, it was placed to the back of his head. It was an object that he felt like it wasn't something that was plastic or rubber or anything like that. It felt to him, and he believed it to be a firearm. So even though that it's robbery with a dangerous weapon, because the person that was robbed believed it to be a firearm.
Yeah.
So that's why it would be a robbery with a dangerous weapon.
And in any case like that, do you remind potential victims to do exactly what this young man did? Give it up?
Exactly.
Just give up the money.
Yeah, just give it up. Things can be replaced. Your life's important and stuff. So, we ask people, to take that in consideration, and be safe. Comply as best you can, and try to get away and get as much information as you can. If you can see that, but if your safety is in question, get out of the area and call law enforcement.
Now, if anyone has any information at all, big, small, whatever kind of information they may have, if they saw somebody running or if they saw 3 males in the area at around 3 o'clock that time of day.
Yeah. Anything, call Crime Stoppers. The number is 919-735-2255, and they can call and text that. They remain 100% anonymous.
100%.
100%. And, they can receive a reward up to $1,000.
Up to $1,000, and again, the Corporal Adams stresses the fact that you do remain anonymous. They don't want to know who you are. They don't want to know at all, and there's a good reason for that. But I'll let him tell that to you when you call, or if you want more information, you can call the Goldsboro PD to find out about that. Right. But when you call the 735-2255 number, you do remain completely anonymous. They have no way of tracking you at all.
Correct.
Reward up to $1,000 for information leading to an arrest.
A felony arrest.
It's a felony arrest. Well, Jason, I appreciate you coming in. Thank you very much, sir. 735-2255. Corporal Jason Adams is with Goldsboro Police Department, and this has been a Crime Stoppers report.
Andrew, Adam, Nora, David, Robert, Edward, William, Sam. First, phonetically, it's Adam, Henry, John, Adam.
And we're back on this Friday, the 3rd segment of the program. Thank you for being with us on Wayne Goldsboro Television. If you have a pet, you know about rabies. Well, if you don't have a pet, you know about rabies. But if you have a pet, you know it takes a lot of attention to your pet to make sure that they're careful about rabies. And the way to help your pet, your 4-legged family member, is to make sure that your pets have the proper vaccine, rabies vaccination. And it's that time of year when you can get rabies vaccinations. And here you go, the Wayne County Rabies Clinics for 2017, for the spring of 2017. There'll be 2 clinics, 4 locations. The first clinic is on April 1st. April 1st. Now listen to this. Wayne Benton out at the Animal Adoption and Education Center said, look, we've been charging $10 for rabies vaccines. We can do better than that. So they've cut it in half. Rabies vaccinations, $5. $5, that's all. $5 to get your pet vaccine. The first one is April 1 at Eastern Wayne High School in the morning at 8 o'clock and at Southern Wayne High School in the afternoon at 1 o'clock. Eastern Wayne in the morning, Southern Wayne in the afternoon. Only 2 hours. That's at 8 o'clock in the morning at Eastern Wayne and 1 o'clock in the afternoon at Southern Wayne. They only be there for 2 hours, and it's only $5 per animal, per dog or cat. The owner of every dog and cat over 4 months of age shall have the animal vaccinated against rabies. Any animal receiving its first rabies vaccine shall receive another dose 1 year later and every 3 years after that. So there you go. Now, do you like prunes? Do you like pruning? Pruning trees and shrubs is necessary. It is. It makes them grow fuller and more healthier and all that stuff. So the Wayne County Gardening event, the next gardening event coming up will be a successful gardening workshop. Pruning trees and shrubs. Pruning trees and shrubs. The topic will be on February 24th. That's this month, this year. February 24th, from 9 till noon, at the Cooperative Extension Office on George Street, at Chestnut Street, 208 West Chestnut. Well, you know what the Cooperative Extension Office is. Registration is required. Registration required no later than 5 business days before the event, and you can register by calling 919-731-1520. 919-731-1520. The workshop will be presented by our buddy Jessica Strickland, who is the horticulture agent here. That's coming up on the 24th of February. And if you want to know more about the Wayne County Cooperative Extension Service, you can go to wayne.ces, Cooperative Extension Service. That's wayne.ces.ncsu.edu for education. That's at the ncsu.edu website. It is wayne.ces.ncsu.edu. There you go. Okay, you ready? Okay, we're going to turn the page. Oh, I don't want to read that. Oh, I don't read that either. Okay, we're done. That's it. We're done. Now, what about our trivia question for today? The category for today's question is Garth Brooks. Now, Garth met his first wife, Sandy, when he and she ended up in the same room together. And there was something stuck in the wall, and she was trying to pull it out of the wall. What was stuck in the wall that she was trying to remove? The answer is her fist. She had slammed her fist into the wall. Well, here's what happened. You see, Garth Brooks was a bouncer at a bar in the early days. And there was a disruption in the ladies' room. So when they go into the ladies' room, they see a disruption. And on one side of the room, this lady had her hand stuck in a wall that she had hit. And that was Sandy. And Garth helped her get her fist out of the wall and then kicked them all out of the bar. But he got her number first. He thought she was pretty cute. So he called her, they met, started dating, and the rest is history. They got married. But I thought that was an interesting story. It was her fist. That was the answer. She was trying to get out of the wall. And that's going to do it for today. We'll be back in here tomorrow, bright and early, about 7 o'clock. The show repeats at noon. Then the show will repeat at 5:30 p.m. Okay? So have a great day and drive carefully. Please wear your seatbelt. Until tomorrow, I'm Wayne Alley, and this is Wayne Goldsboro Television.